Barbie.
Who?
Barbie.
Not the Barbie.
The very Barbie.
That we went to see?
Yes.
That movie?
Wasn't it wonderful?
Yes, it was. I don't think it was quite as wonderful as you thought it was wonderful. But I thought the technology, the cinematography, the way they'd done it was excellent.
Oh my God.
And then, of course, the content, after I was in there for a few, because I didn't really want to be there.
Right.
It doesn't do my James Bond image any good. And I thought, actually, this is a really interesting way of looking at how men and women are handling themselves.
Yes.
Or Hill and Dale. And how we're still lunatics. But anyway.
Well, it was... I had not... I'd expected it to be kind of Barbie, and like tits and fannies and accessories and clothes and just like that. And I thought it would be some kind of love story between her and Ken. And
well, it was.
It was, but it wasn't that at all. And the underlying message was women are not in the boardroom. It's not even glass ceiling. It's like there's not even anybody there. So it was it was I loved it. And I was shocked. I was shocked and surprised. And I think that's why I loved it so much, because it was like, wow, this is awesome.
Yes, it was definitely different than what I was expecting it would be. But on the other hand, I thought it was great just to sit there. And of course they were all dressed wonderfully like Barbies, and so I enjoyed that bit as well.
Yeah. It was so well done.
The colours and that, and of course it's all pink.
Yes.
And Ken, it was just interesting that he comes back to Barbie Land and suddenly it's now Ken Land.
Well, we don't want to give any spoilers.
Anything away, but yes. So, well, that's right. We shouldn't really talk about this until about a year from now.
No,
but I think every man should go and watch that movie.
Yes.
Just to make us realise that things are changing, but boy, we got ways to go.
Yeah, still a long way to go.
Yeah.
Very interesting. And then, so we were having a coffee yesterday, and there was a young woman serving the coffee.
Barista?
Yes. And so we were talking about Barbie, because I'd overheard her talking to another customer about Barbie, and it seemed like she was a bit dissatisfied with it. So
the ending.
I wanted to know why. And
yes, why?
And it was really that the revelation or the resolution wasn't quite what she wanted.
Well, there isn't. Because we all discussed and said there is no resolution to this. This goes on forever, because I hate to say this without getting into any trouble. Men and women are different.
Yes.
So, and I don't mean just physically, I mean psychologically, personality. There's all kind. It's a very complex situation, men and women. And if you are religious, you have to think, why was God doing this? What was the point? To make two little species that are so compatible and yet totally incompatible.
Here's what I have to say. I think at the end, I don't think this is a spoiler alert, I think at the end it would have been great if they had had a boardroom with men and women in, because research has stated, lots of research, that teams with men...
The research.
Shut the fuck up, you. Teams with both men and women are way better than a team of just men, or a team of just women, or a team of just they and them, or it's the togetherness that makes things work.
The dynamic.
So I don't think it's...
Still talking.
Yes, I am talking. Shut your face. You
Good.
interrupted. No, shut up. What am I saying? I don't think it's really the fact that men and women are different. I don't think that actually makes any difference. It's like, okay, so we're different. and we work better when we work together. And there is no reason why women have to be kept out of the boardrooms or kept out of the decision making, or are put in these roles of having to do all the housework or all the cooking.
I think that's pretty much gone now.
I don't
I think we can safely say that the role of the woman in the house.
No.
I mean, yes, of course, in certain areas in the world it'll still exist. But there's more CEOs now than ever before. CFF, CFC, CBD.
No, it might be changing. But Jeff, you look at the. I am interrupting because, but you look at any government, any politics. It's all men. There's
Thatcher.
a few women. Yeah, Maggie Thatcher, but she was like a man. She even was trained to talk lower, like a man. And because that's what we. So there's more men in.
Yes, of course there is.
Yeah. So, yes, of course there is. That's the problem.
Well, because it was, if we, it's a bit silly to say, well, that's the problem. There's been men in it for most of the time. Why?
I think in Amazon times it was all women. There's going to be places where women
There've been places
ruled.
that never existed called Amazon women. So I think the problem is...
You.
Yes.
Heavily. You're a man.
Yes.
That's the problem.
And I think we rest our case there.
Women
think men are the problem.
You are.
You give birth, and that's where it all goes.
Well, it only goes.
Stop.
It only goes like that because because our work in the home and child rearing, which is what it typically used to be and still is not appreciated. It's not. We're not paid for it. It's not deemed to be really a job. It's
right. Well,
crazy.
Because the job, in that sense, is having sewage, having water pipes, having electricity, having cars, having aeroplanes, having things like that. These were the jobs that men did. And still do.
Right, because women weren't
without
allowed.
Those, they weren't. No, you've just sort of contradicted yourself. Women were having babies.
Yes.
And in the home, because they were the nurturers and looking after the babies.
Fuck
which
off.
everybody...
I'm sorry, but I am...
No, you weren't. I'm the nurturer in this family.
Exactly. If the kids wanted something, you took them to the dentist. You were and are the nurturer. You're the empathic one. I'm the one that's like, go do,
Go
so
fuck yourself.
this whole gender thing that we're different is a load of balls. It really is. It is, darling. I mean, yes, we give birth, but that should not be. We should not be discriminated against just because we give birth. Okay. We should be paid for it. In some way.
God, I paid through the nose for it. See how easy it is to get you going. I've paid heavily for that.
Okay,
for
tell
the
me
marriage,
how.
For the
tell me how you paid.
Because I'm working and just giving you all the money.
Oh my God, I remember I would be... what a load... So I'd be home and you would put your suit jacket on like it was wings and you flew out of the house in the morning and didn't come back to the evening. Meanwhile, I'm diapering.
Oh, and by the way, I didn't have a job. I would just sit in the car for 8 hours. What the fuck?
No, but it's great. Listen, when I was working for Pitney Bowes as a salesperson when the kids were in their teens, it was great. I mean, you go out there and yes, you've got problems at work, but it's not the same as looking after babies and kids, and if you're not adapted to it, which I really wasn't. I wasn't a...
No, but I don't think anybody is anyway. But yes, you definitely weren't, and I wasn't. Being a man, doing manly things, I wasn't. Except you have to be, don't you?
So this whole thing about we're different, great. That's what makes it wonderful. That's what makes teams of both men and women better. We need women in the boardroom and all over the place, just as equal. And there's more women on the planet than there are men. So why don't we have a bigger voice? It's crazy.
Well, I think to be honest now, babe. If I watch the television, which I rarely do, but I mean when I do the voodoo that you do so well, there's a hell of a lot of women on the news, on debates, on the. I mean, I think it's. I understand that you have to kind of say we're still downtrodden, but it is getting better and better and better.
It definitely is, but it's still not there.
Well,
by any means.
And of course, I think what she was saying, Barbie, is it's never going to be there because of this personalities and temperaments and, you know, the testosterone that I have and the estrogen that you have. And testosterone, men go out and... Why are all bricklayers in America, it's 98 point something % men?
Because women weren't allowed in the bricklaying workworkforce.
No, because it's really hard, nasty, shitty work.
Women can do hard, nasty...
Digging sewers.
Oh, come on.
Come on, look at this.
Digging sewers. Listen.
Look at the structure that's gone on.
No, sorry. Women do such hard work. Looking after babies, changing diapers.
No, I agree.
Taking the garbage
work is slightly
out.
Different.
Oh,
digging up roads under the tunnel. Carrying crans.
You've seen some women getting out of the car and they've got the baby and the baby carrier and the shopping, and it's we can do anything. And if women want to be a bricklayer, they should be able to be a bricklayer or whatever. It's just that we never have had the opportunity because in that not long distance ago, we had to be home looking after the kids.
I agree, totally.
And look at let's talk about Catholicism. Let's talk about, I only really know about Ireland where, you know, people are having huge families, just popping babies out one after the other. I would have been one of those because once we became fertile.
Oh my God, yes, you were.
Decided we wanted to have kids. It was popping out. Jeez, and you had to have a vasectomy. Which, by the way, thank you so much for doing that because you had the vasectomy like 48 years ago.
Yes.
When it wasn't really, you know, it wasn't known.
Oh, no, that's not true.
Your balls could have shrank and your penis could have dropped off. We didn't really...
Well, thank God you didn't say that at the time because I would never have done it. Bloody hell. No, it was standard operate in England. It was free. And it took 3 minutes to have a vasectomy. Whereas for you, they'd have to go in, a major operation, tie your tubes, diddle, biddle, bottle, biddle, when all I had to do was lie on a gurney for 3 minutes and done.
Yeah, I thought that was great because you were like, no, I'm not having you go through all of that.
That's ridiculous.
Tying tubes and things.
What?
Major
Nonsense.
So you've always been great, Jeff, and you I mean, when you were working and I was a stay-at-home mom, I did do the usual kind of housework and stuff like that. But you always were there. You've always helped when you can, and I've always appreciated that about you.
But that's the whole thing about a partnership. It's not about you do more than I do, that you do, that they do. It's a partnership. If I go out to work, I have to leave. And then I come back later. And in the meantime, you've got your work and I've got my work. So that when we get together again, we share the work. It's very... This isn't brain surgery.
No, well, but it kind of is, because I remember in Denmark. Now, I think you know, because you lived in Denmark for a little while, and your sister married a Danish guy.
Correct.
Our brother-in-law. Now, in Denmark, it seemed that they had a much better way of taking care of children.
Oh, if you're talking about the facility, yes. Well,
tell us about it.
Well, but if you talk about the facilities here, compared to Europe, this country sucks.
Yeah. So tell us about...
child rearing and looking after... I mean, it's just appalling what we don't do here. The biggest, wonderful country in the world. It's not. We seem to forget about people altogether. As long as the money's coming in and we can build more missiles, that seems to... and of course I'm exaggerating, it's not that way. But there's no childcare, there's no... In England, if you have a baby, you're off for 9 months. Paid.
In England. I mean, that
Of
wasn't the way
course.
it was when I was... But is that what it is now?
When you were having babies, yet you didn't have to pay for anything. And you
Oh,
could take
sorry,
the time
yes.
off.
Well,
What
I
are you
wasn't
talking
working,
about?
so I don't know.
Well, all right, you weren't working. But if you were working, you would get
It's a
9 months.
Oh, great, okay.
And free. And nurses coming to see
Yes.
how you were doing with your baby. And-
Childbirth free.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everything was
Here
free.
it's like-
Is free.
Once you have a kid, well, that's your problem.
Well, it's expensive.
2 weeks. We'll let you have 2 weeks.
Yeah.
What?
Now, what about Denmark? I want to hear about what do you remember? Because our
Well, it was just
niece was born there.
Right. Well, just longer. More benefits.
Maternity leave for the man and the woman. think.
Well, they brought that in later for men. I think that was about 30 years ago.
So did you
20
get like
years ago. So, yeah, but women could stay off work longer. Again, everything is free over there. Having the babies free. I think,
kindergarten?
oh, yeah, kindergarten. Well, school in England is free,
Yeah.
but not here. I still don't get this.
Well, I mean,
This
the public
wonderful
schools
country,
are
and
free.
we just don't give a shit about
Children.
our populace.
Right.
What is that about?
Well, this is the problem, really, behind the whole men-women equality thing. Until we enable women to have babies without being jeopardized, I don't know what the word is really, or discriminated against, or, then it's never going to be equal.
Right.
And the thought of, that a woman gives birth and has like a couple of weeks off, or, I mean, for goodness sake, our own daughter, one of our daughters, I remember she was working and taking a breast pump. She was training and had to take a breast pump, and so you're in the bathroom, fucking, your tits out, and you've got this boo 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 that you have to then refrigerate, and it's just crazy. Like, what the fuck? What is wrong?
Yeah.
And what is wrong is that men have been in charge of where the money goes and where the priorities lay, and it's
Yes,
not with women.
yes.
It just
No.
isn't with women
Or children.
or children.
don't
We
look
have this
after
huge
children.
thing about abortion, like, oh my God, let's not kill the baby, but let's not take care of the baby when it's born. We don't care about that. Just keep having the babies. We're not going to take care of them. We're not going to take care of the mom, but just have the baby because, oh my dear, the life is so important. Oh, it makes me fucking sick.
Yeah.
These are supposed to be comedies, by the way.
Well, it is a comedy of errors, isn't it, really? I mean,
guess.
everything that we do is a comedy of errors, and how we survive is through making mistakes, learning from them, picking them up. Yeah. There is a mental belief, though, in this country that if you're not working your ass off on your own with very little help, you're not really an American.
We are Americans, by the way. We became
Yeah,
American.
of course we are.
Just in case you're thinking, well,
No, we are
bloody
Americans.
English.
How dare you talk about America?
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're actually more American than we've ever been English.
Right.
We've been here 40 years, and I think I was in England for like 30, and the rest of the time in Europe. So we're more American than anybody.
And America
but
has
anyway,
given us such opportunities. I mean,
oh yeah, it was
So-
about 40 years ago. Coming to America was like my dream. Today, I would never come.
why?
Oh, because look at it.
Yeah.
Nationalism, taking the word patriot and making it a nasty sounding word. Liberal. If you look, I wish anybody out there would just look up the word liberal. Go to Google and say, give me the definition of liberal. And then if you're a Republican, you better keep your mouth shut. Because it talks about liberal is the people that move forward, that do more, that are caring, that are interested, that are humane, etc., etc. The word liberal. So anyway, so that's why now it's got worse and worse about banning books.
Yeah.
Let's have Hitler back.
Well, it's like
Let's ban some more books. It's like, what? How can anybody's mind grow if you're not given stuff that you might not agree with, but it allows you to expand your mind and work out? And you may even go, oh, I get it now. That's why that happened in history. That's why we do think. To just block. Conservative comes from the word conserve, to keep the same as. And that's what these guys have been trying to do. They just want to keep it back into 1949, 1950, when America was expanding rapidly and making millions. Of course, black people were being lynched and women couldn't vote. And so it just goes on and on.
Mm.
Let's all keep everybody dumb. I don't like it.
No, I get that.
Mm.
Well, I have and it's this word socialist, like it's kind of socialism.
They have no idea what... Most Americans do not know what the word means.
I think you are interrupting.
Sorry,
I'm
right.
trying to have a little
Backing off.
point here.
Beep, beep, going backwards. Beep, beep, beep.
So we did a lot of work around the VA hospitals. We travelled all over the United States to pretty much every VA hospital doing training. We would train on leadership, management, conflict management, emotional intelligence, all kinds of things. All of the people in the VA, the doctors, the surgeons, to
nurses,
kitchen staff, admin, everybody. And it's free. Veterans get all of this, all these services, all this health free. That is socialism.
The police, the fire brigade,
the post office.
The post office.
It's
social security.
Socialism. That's what it is. It's being social.
Yeah.
And so I don't understand why people are like socialism, like it's
a disease.
Yeah, like oh my
ridiculous.
God, let's run from the socialism. And it's an amazing thing. I mean, to go around the VAs, it was fantastic. The camaraderie, the people. I remember getting into that elevator, and there was a woman. It was kind of full. There was a woman, and there was a guy in a wheelchair, and some doctors and nurses. And the doors opened, and this woman said, "Good morning, come in." And it's kind of like that when you go around a VA hospital. Hi, how are you doing? It's a very feeling of camaraderie and collaboration and amazing.
And the paid lowly wages.
Yeah.
And of course the Republicans want to close them all down and make it private so they can make more money. They can, not the people who need the money, but the people who've got the money want to make more money. It's very sad.
I'm
disheartened.
Sad.
I would... Today, if I was told, let's go over to America and start out again, no.
Said that before, but
I'm saying it again.
Are you saying it again? But here's the thing: is like there are still more people wanting to do good, because when we were in Washington with the VA, and it was the general, everybody, the top brass of the VA were in Washington. We were doing training there, and they really did want to do the best job. You could just tell.
But the problem is that each government that takes over, if it's the Republican, they stop, they cut, they stop benefits, they stop everything. Then the Democrats get back in and they have to start again to try and build the VA back up again. Then it's followed by Republicans who slice and dice.
Yeah, and then they bring up stuff, because...
Oh, anything that's wrong is highlighted on Fox News. My God, have you seen this?
And it's just really because they want transparency, and of course with transparency comes, my gosh,
they wanting transparency?
The VA want transparency. They're working hard to uncover things, and also the VA comes up with hugely innovative ideas for health. I mean, they're amazing. It's an amazing...
But anyway, that's us. I don't want to get...
Right, okay.
Because I get... And I know some people will be listening will have already switched off going, well, they don't understand.
Yeah.
So,
right.
Very sad.
Well, back to Barbie.
Yes. Make
it
mandatory for every man to go and watch the movie.
Yeah, but here's the
And
other...
then you can go to Oppenheim and be really
Well, we haven't seen that
depressed
yet.
and upset. God. Mr. Death, he called himself at the end. You know, after he'd done all of that, he was so upset about what he'd achieved. He said, just call me Mr. Death.
Wow.
And spent the rest of his life telling people not to do any of this because look what happens.
Bit late, wasn't it?
Destroy everybody.
A bit late, Oppenheimer.
Well, usually the story. We're always a little bit late behind the 8 ball.
Yeah.
But anyway, and by the way, I love being here in my America. When I say my America, I mean the family that I'm with, the people that I meet. And I do love to meet Republicans because I love to have the argument about what they're doing and why, so I can see how they stutter and bluster and can't come up with an answer. It's just about money and power. Anyway. So people will say, well, why aren't you back in England? Because our family's here, our grandchildren are here. And we could have done the things over there that we did here. It would have just taken longer. And it's a free society, and it's free education, free health. People can stand on the corner and shout abusive things about King Charles, the government. It's totally free. Anybody can speak their mind. So America isn't just the only free country. There's 189 countries that are free, where people can. But the price of freedom is very heavy.
Which is...
Well, all that we're getting now. I have the right to say nasty, disgusting, hurtful, mean things. That's my right as an American. Really?
Yeah.
What happened to using your brain and common sense? And if you watch them in Congress, it's just abuse. It's like, why?
Right.
How do we get together when we've got people saying just lies and exaggerations and nastiness and destroying people's lives? Very weird. I don't understand it, but there we are.
Well, it's because of everything that you said that people want money. I want money. I love money.
There's nothing wrong with money. It gets you things.
It's
but it becomes
green
at a certain
energy.
level.
I feel like I can't say things.
Well,
I feel
get
like
on
you're
with it.
jumping on things.
Hurry up.
Shut up.
Charming.
Jumping.
You're a Republican.
Piss off.
See?
I am not a Republican. I am a Democrat.
It was called a joke.
It's not funny. And getting back to Barbie. No, I think we've covered Barbie, haven't we? But again, Congress. When we look at Congress, we need to see half women, half men in there, and we need to.
Have you seen some of the women that are in there?
Go on.
God.
What? Oh.
Marjorie. What? You say what?
No, go on. Tell me them.
No, well, I don't have to.
No, please do it. Come on, do it, Jeff.
Appalling people.
Right.
Appalling.
Like doing what? Just as bad as anybody, the men.
Yeah. Oh, worse.
Well, there you
Bobbitt and some of the other ones. You're looking at them going, oh, an abortion, and it's women. Oh, it's like. I think it's because America is still classified as a teenage country. Because it's still young, and the problem is you've got teenagers in charge who don't give a shit. Who want their thing at any cost and not prepared to do what the older people have to do, which is compromise and discuss, and that it's just shouting. And I'm not talking about age, I'm talking about the mindset that they've got. With guns and things like that.
Oh my God, we're going to bring up guns.
Well, no, I mean, it's embarrassing for me when I talk to my friends over in England and elsewhere. Nobody understands it at all.
The guns?
Yeah. Nobody gets
I
it.
understand it. You just have to watch a Western, and you can see, and it's not that long ago where it was the guns. And I think it was the British that sold the first guns, wasn't it? The Smith and Wesson gun.
Oh, yeah.
And, so, I mean, so we're not... This is a mindset where we are coming from fear. I remember this friend of mine saying she went to... It might have even been Detroit, visiting cousins. And she went into the kitchen and there were just all these guns on the kitchen counter. It's like just as an everyday thing, in case somebody... and also another friend saying her mum and dad, these are old people, like in their 80s, had guns in their bedside drawer. I mean, can you imagine, like, where's the gun? You got the gun, you got the bullet. I mean, come on, stop.
The safety's still on. Oh.
Or not,
But
and they're like,
time
shooting, and it's
they're riddled with bullets.
Bloody grandson that's come in or something. It's like, what the fuck are we so frightened about? Because it all comes from fear. It's this survival it's back to your brain. It's back to the animal brain, which is into fear, fight, flight. Everybody's scared.
Everybody's against me.
Lock your
do
doors.
it to them before they do it to us. Anyway, I don't really want, because it's highly depressing.
It's depressing. This isn't comic at all, is
No.
it?
How long have we been going?
Too long, I think.
We've been going on for, over 30 minutes.
All right,
for
so
Christ's
listen,
sake.
we have to...
All we want to say is Barbie was wonderful. Dress in pink, even if you're a man. And go there and take as many men friends as you can.
I also want to say that I think, there's a Pareto rule, 80-20. I think 80% of people are amazing and doing the best that they can, helping, caring, being of service.
Yes.
And there is a 20% who are just hate, not happy,
frightened people
frightened,
who just
fearful,
want money and power.
And unfortunately, in media terms, what bleeds leads. And so it's always the negative.
That was a very...
That's what we hear about.
What leads. Wish
my-
I'd thought of that one.
In my mind,
yes?
I look for what you want. You see what you're looking for. So if you're looking for hate, that's what you'll see. If you're looking for love, that's what you'll see. So, look for the good
The silver
in life.
lining. Actually, I'm looking for food, so can we get over this and get on with our lives?
Love you, my friends. Take care.
See you soon.
Be great. Come from love. Open your heart. Be loving.
Bye, Gracie. Say goodbye.
Bye, Barbie.
Bye-bye.